All right, guys. Big week here on the PGA Tour. The Players, that tees off tomorrow. It's going to be a nasty week there in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. Geoff, Ulrich, Reid Fowler, two of the most handsome dudes in my life who know how to talk golf, are here to chase or fade some of these golfers for this really amazing tournament.
Yeah, should we ask, though? I mean, like Emerson said, bad weather forecasted in Florida. So what's the approach this weekend? Like, are you looking at a certain type of player because of the rain, Geoff?
I mean, the variance is going to get turned up whenever there's bad weather, but I think it's just going to emphasize what you need at this course even more, and that's really, really good iron play, specifically long iron play. There's shorter par fives that guys are going to be needing to go 4 and 2, and there's longer par fours that has small greens on approach, and you're going to need really, really solid long iron play. You're going to need to be good around the green. TPC Sawgrass, always tough around the green. Everyone's going to miss greens this week. Everyone misses greens at TPC Sawgrass anyways, because it's just, it's a Pete Dye course, smaller greens, tough approaches, but it's going to be worse this week because Emerson mentioned it's not just wind, it's cold. Guys are going to be hitting it a little bit shorter, longer irons in. So emphasize, guys, really good approach games, really good form with those approach games, and you got to have some kind of around the green game this week. If you don't, I think you're going to get left behind pretty quick.
Reid, anything to add?
Yeah, so basically everything, Geoff, right? Like good approaches, great around the greens. Like Emerson's emotional level last week, he said he was going to go to this tournament, was at a sky high, and now it's at a rock bottom.
Yeah,
you can see it on his face, and he is very, very disappointed. But yeah, Geoff's right. If you don't want to go the whole route of saying everything needs to be firing because of the weather, because every element is going to be there. It's like Captain America. It's like wind, rain, hot, cold, like it's everything on each 4 days. Wind directions, all 4 directions that is going to be hitting at this course. The one thing I will say that Geoff talked about going a little bit deeper is long approaches. He talked about those long par fours, or if the guys want to go for these greens into the par fives, and their balls aren't rolling out as much as they would, let's say, in May, especially that move from May to March, right? And now you add the cold and the weather, the balls drop out of the cold. They don't keep on going, and then they stop, right, if it's wet. Those 200-plus yard approaches on those par fours and on those par fives and the 175 to 200, maybe you want to look at those guys in a difficult setting that have played well, if not already, like Geoff mentioned, the stats that you need.
Kevin Roth, by the way, does a lot of forecasting there, especially for fantasy impact and betting impact. Said this morning, it looks like it's going to be really heavy in the mornings on Friday and Saturday. So I don't know if that's something where maybe you try to target some golfers who are going to go off more in the afternoon on Friday. I don't know. But let's start at the top of the board and let's look at some of these odds. Jon Rahm, guys, favorite, plus 1,000 at the top. Few stars. Brooks Koepka, I feel like a lot of people are on him this week. Dustin Johnson, plus 3,500. Anyone's odds stand out to you, Reid?
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at Jon Rahm, this is the first time we've seen him at 4 digits, right, this season, this year. And you might think that plus 1,000 is too short, but it's still Jon Rahm, and you get him at those odds. It does feel like it's a little bit of value. A lot of people are going to Colin Morikawa, but I do think that the guy you mentioned, Emerson, and Brooks Koepka, I mean, his number at opening was a lot higher than what it is now, and it's kind of equalized at plus 3,500. You know, with a 3 in front of Brooks's name anywhere, it kind of feels like it's value. If you got a 4 in front of that, or even a 5, right, if you were lucky, then maybe that would have been the case. But I think Brooks Koepka, if you take a look at what he's done, a 3rd place at WM, a 16th at Honda, which was 2 weeks ago. Those 2 missed cuts are tournaments he never plays well in his career. Brooks Koepka now at plus 3,000 in a tough field, a major field to this tournament, is a guy that finally looks healthy. Give me Brooks.
Okay, Geoff, in a special Monday edition of The Slate with 2/3 of the golf gurus, I believe you said you like Brooks this week.
I definitely like Brooks. Look, I mean, if we're looking at the top of the board, I mean, Jon Rahm at plus 1,000, I think it's fine. His approach game has been good. He's been smashing the ball lately. It's the players. We have bad weather. I just don't really want to bet someone at plus 1,000. This was a little bit bigger, maybe plus 1,400. I could definitely make a case. I do like Rahm. I would not be shocked if he ended up triumphant this week. But the 2 players who, to me, look a little bit underpriced are Brooks Koepka and Daniel Berger. And Reid's already mentioned Koepka. I think the better target is actually Berger. I mean, Berger is the guy who showed dominant form for 3 rounds at the Honda. I mean, he essentially outplayed Brooks there as well. And it's not like he's looked terrible in his other starts. He dealt with a bit of a back injury, but that seems to be long gone. Berger has just been so consistent over the last year and a half. and yet he's still priced under Xander Schauffele, who never wins full field events, Hideki, who is dealing with an injury. He's not 100%. He's come out and talked about it himself. And then guys like Hovland and Cantlay, who clearly have been better than him over the last year, but have they really been better in the short term? I don't know. At the very least, I would think that Berger should be closer to where Hideki is in the odds this week. It's tight at the top of DraftKings, but Berger is the guy I'm looking at the most as a target even today.
Yeah, he's got a top 10 here last year to build upon.
Yeah, how about a
Yes, he
player
is.
with some longer odds, like plus 7,000 or longer that you have your eye on? Geoff, I know you like Taylor Gooch. He's plus 6,500 though.
yeah,
So
he certainly
Yeah,
does.
buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll leave Taylor Gooch to guys like Reid if he wants to talk there, if he goes there. I don't know. I'll move over to continental Europe if that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the first players who I looked for this week when I heard it was going to be bad weather was Alex Noren, and he's still available at plus 10,000 on the DraftKings Sportsbook. I mean, Noren is he's just kind of been grinding it out over the last year and a half. And it's a very prolific winner. He's got 10 plus wins over on the European Tour. He's won some big events over there too. The BMW PGA, the French Open. These are played at tough golf courses. A little bit similar to TPC Sawgrass, just in terms of they're very demanding. They demand, long iron approaches, good around the greens. And Alex Noren is well suited for an event like this. He really is. And if you look at what he's been doing over his last 5 events, he's had some of his best ball striking in a couple years. He's just been kind of floundering around, and now he's kind of going on an uptick here. And I just think that this event is really going to lead to a veteran, maybe not even a veteran, just a player who's good at managing the course, has that short game to save him and the putter to save him when needed. And I think Alex Noren at plus 10,000 here is just being disregarded. He's got 2 top 6 finishes in his last 5 starts. The last one came at PGA National, which is probably the best corollary course we have to TPC Sawgrass. I think he's really good value this week and in all markets.
Reid, it's not crazy to be looking at golfers with these longer odds, right? I read in your article that since 2016, the average winning odds are plus 12,900. Rory McIlroy is the shortest at plus 1,400 in 2019. Siwoo Kim is the longest at plus 50,000 in 2017.
Jeez. Jesse, you are glowing
Yeah.
today.
Oh my God, thank
Yes.
you.
Yep.
You're fantastic. You're the best host that we have not named
Top.
Emerson. No,
She's top
You're the
2.
best host in
Thank you.
general.
Okay. Great.
But yeah, no, absolutely, right? You take a look at these odds, and we've seen deeper guys like Siwoo come out of nowhere. And look, like Geoff mentioned, Alex Noren seems to be the flavor of the week, and rightfully so, right? You kind of feel it, like Florida course, tough conditions, guy who plays well. I mean, he's got a top 17 or 17th and a 10th at the Players, 2 missed cuts in his last 2 events here. But you don't need a lot of successful course history here. You need some experience at this course. So I don't mind Noren. Max Homa is the guy for me at plus 8,000. If you take a look at his last 3 events, which consist of the WM, I think it was the Honda, it was Arnie's, and then the Genesis. I think he didn't play Honda. But at plus 8,000, a guy who's gained an average of 5.5 strokes ball striking over those 3 events and is solid in the putting, I'm going to lose it here. Max Homa, give me him at plus 8,000.
Who's your pick to win the Players' Championship, TPC Sawgrass, Reid? Just give me the guy, because we'll talk more about it tonight on the slate.
I'm with Geoff, Daniel Berger.
Geoff.
Russell Henley.